Hello, and here's another video. This is on some additional problems from Module 13, and I wanted to go through these with you guys so that you could have a few more examples to look at as you're doing some of the homeworks and before you prepare for the mastery check. So this first one, we're going to be multiplying a monomial with a trinomial. So this is going to be distributive property, mostly. Okay, so we're going to distribute. We're going to multiply 6 times the 3. 6 times 3 is 18. And then we're going to multiply x times x. So we have x times x is x squared. And then y squared times y squared. We add the exponents, we get y to the fourth. Now we have a positive times a negative, so we'll have a negative. 6 times 6 is 36. X times x is x squared. Y squared times y would be y cubed. Okay, so we have to remember that the y has a 1 on it, x has a 1 on it. Okay. Next would be 6 times positive 9. That would be 54. And then x times x would be x squared. And the y squared would come along. Okay, so that would be the final answer. Okay. Use a rectangle method to find the product of. Okay, rectangle method is really just another way to show multiplication, right? The idea here is we're gonna multiply x plus 3 times x plus 1. Okay, so when you do this, you could really go back to your FOIL model. First, outer, inner, last. Let me briefly show you guys the rectangle model. Some people like the rectangle model. They prefer the rectangle model over FOIL. So the way we'd set this up, if we have x plus 3, we would put x and then plus 3. And then x plus 1 would be x and then plus 1. So now what we do is, because this is a rectangle and these are rectangles in here, we find the area of each rectangle by multiplying length times width. X times x would be x squared. For this rectangle we have x times 1. X times 1 is 1x. For this rectangle we have x times 3, which is 3x. And then for this last rectangle we have 3 times 1, which is 3. We combine any like terms. For example, we could combine the x with the 3x. So our final answer, we would have x squared. X plus 3x would be 4x. And then plus 3. Okay, so that's the rectangle model. You could always do it with the regular FOIL. You have x times x, x squared, x times 1, which is x, 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay, you could combine the middle terms, so x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Use distributive property to find the product. Okay, so in this one we're going to first distribute the 2y. 2y will distribute to this trinomial. Okay, so we have 2y times negative 2y squared. That would be negative 4y cubed. 2y times 7y would be plus 14. Y times y is y squared. 2y times 2 is 4y. Next will be -3. We're going to multiply everything in the second parentheses by -3. -3 times -2y squared would be a positive, right? Negative times negative is positive. 3 times 2 is 6, 6y squared. -3 times 7y would be -21y. -3 times 2 would be -6. Okay, we're going to add straight down. -4y cubed. Now notice I lined these up so that I have my like terms lined up. Makes it much easier to just add at the very end. Plus 14 plus 6 would be 20 y squared. 4 minus 21 would be -17 y minus 6. And then this would be the final answer. Okay, multiply using the rule for the square of a binomial. X minus 7 squared. Anytime you see that, you could just write it twice. That means you have x minus 7 times x minus 7. Okay, so we multiply x times x, x squared, x times -7, -7x, -7 times x, -7x, and -7 times -7 is a positive 49. Combine like terms in the middle, so we end up with x squared minus 14x plus 49. Okay, last one, divide and check. Here we're going to take each of the terms in the top in the numerator and divide it by the term in the denominator. Okay, so we could take each one, 16x to the 5th divided by -2x squared minus 16x to the 4th divided by -2x squared, and then plus 10x squared divided by -2x squared. Okay, so that's the trick to this problem. So here we start dividing the coefficients. 16 divided by -2 is -8. And then x to the 5th divided by x squared, we could subtract the exponents. So we end up with x cubed. Here we have -16 divided by -2. So negative divided by negative is positive. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And then the quotient rule, we subtract 4 minus 2. So we have x to the 2nd, or x squared. And then the last term, we have a positive 10 divided by -2. That's a -5. And then x squared divided by x squared, well, they are exactly the same, so they're going to cancel each other out. So this will be the final answer. Okay. And that would be it. Any questions, just write me an email, and hope to see you guys in the morning. Have a good day, have a good night, see you soon.